Well, I want to get more to the SpaceX piece, but since you just now talked about sort of the way that you should do business as a government, there's obviously a political issue right now that's out there about what is the appropriate role of government in encouraging job creation. You have 1,500 employees at SpaceX. You're having those jobs in the United States. I guess you have a launch facility in the Marshall Islands.
Yeah, well, actually, our primary launch facility is Cape Canaveral, and then we're building a launch site at Vandenberg Air Force Base in California. We're not currently using the Marshall Islands launch site. We did use it initially, but the logistics are just too difficult getting out there because it's like Waterworld out there. It's a zillion miles from anywhere. So it's convenient in some ways, but then inconvenient from a logistics standpoint. So our primary launch site is Cape Canaveral, and then Vandenberg, and then we're also plan on establishing a commercial launch site, which would, because I think that makes sense, because Vandenberg and the Cape are actually Air Force bases, and it makes sense to sort of concentrate Air Force and perhaps NASA business at those two facilities, and then concentrate commercial launch activity at a commercial launch site, just as occurs with aviation.
Mm-hmm. So what's your sense, as in the political debate here in Washington, do you have trouble creating jobs within your company because of the way the federal government is operating currently, or what you envision as the way the policy is managed generally?
Well, there are. I should first of all say that SpaceX would not be where it is without the help of NASA. Both historically, the great things that NASA has done, and currently with the business that NASA gives us. So, and the expert advice and everything. So. I should make sure to very strongly credit NASA in this arena in terms of how helpful they've been. We do have a bit of a challenge with the Air Force, and this is something where I'm sort of surprised that there's not more journalistic interest, because the Air Force is currently proposing to extend the sole source monopoly of Boeing and Lockheed until 2018. The reasoning given for that is preservation of the industrial base. Although for some reason, oddly enough, we're not included in the industrial base. And this is doubly odd because the main rocket used by Boeing and Lockheed is the Atlas V, which has a Russian main engine and a center airframe, the interstage, and a forward airframe, the fairing, which are made in Switzerland. So which industrial base are we talking about preserving? The one in Russia? That doesn't make much sense.
So you sense that's a political problem?
We have 1% of the lobbying power of Boeing and Lockheed.
That's a political problem.
If this decision is made as a function of lobbying power, we are screwed.
I think you just earned some journalistic attention.